Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for those people who participated in the morning beautiful surgery demonstrated by our Dr. Sajesh Menon. He showed a beautiful double curve, thoracolumbar curve in the morning with excellent result. And we should congratulate Sajesh for that beautiful work and his team for having done a great job in the morning. So now, welcome to our Cadaver course, where Sajesh Menon will be showing, because you all seen in the morning, ultimately in the scoliosis, what is required is perfect pedicle screw fixation in the thoracic region. Everybody is used to doing the lumbar pedicle screw, and to certain extent, we use the thoracic, but upper thoracic is always a problem. And knowing the nitty-gritty of how to put a beautiful thoracic screw is the key point in any of the major thoracolumbar or thoracic problems, including infection, tumor, trauma to scoliosis. And Sajesh is well versed with it, and I welcome Sajesh to go ahead and show the thoracic screw fixation, and he will tell you different methodology with which we can put the pedicle screw fixation, both in children and adults. Sajesh, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satish, for your kind words. Uh, in this session of Spine to 2021, Bhuvaneswar will be discussing about how to place a pedicle screw in thoracic spine. Uh, we can start. Uh, we can start the video, please. Okay, this is the Sobon model showing the entire spine. Our interest is limited to the spine that is in the coming in the middle area. 12 numbers. We collectively called it as thoracic spine. Uh, though we call it as thoracic spine, it is anatomy. Its anatomy is not uniform. There are some anatomical variation. Uh, Based on that, for the descriptive purpose, we subgroup this spine into three groups. Okay, one groups. Then we will discuss along with. So, for a typical vertebra, we are showing first what you are showing is the how to put pedicle screw sagittal orientation of the pedicle screw. Sagittal, there are two techniques are available. First one is called straightforward technique. As you can see in this line, the screw is placed straight down parallel to the superior end plate. It is something like that. It comes like this. It comes like this, go to the anterior part of the vertebral body. The second technique, it is called anatomical technique, where you can see the pedicles are aligned cranially. So here, sorry, caudally. So what you are seeing here, the pedicle screw is placed from the in the long axis of the pedicle into the anterior inferior part of the vertebral body, anterior inferior edge of the vertebral body. This is called the anatomical technique. Uh, if you compare the biomechanical strength between the two technique, definitely this anatomical technique is less stable than the straightforward technique. Then next step is to identification of the entry point. For to identify the entry point, you have to you have to expose from the tip of the lateral forces transverse process from one side to the tip of the transverse process to the other side. You have to expose the superior facet. You have to expose the inferior facet, and you to see the spinous process, the curve of the lamina, everything. If you have to expose all this bony anatomy, then only you can go. You can do the pedicle screw here. What I'm showing, this you can see in the lumbar spine. forget about this lumbar spine. The facets are oriented sagittally, but in the lumbar spine, you can see the facets are oriented coronal. They are in the corona plane. So if this is if you take this joint, or this joint, you can see that superior end plate of the indented vertebra. If suppose this is the indented vertebra where you are going to put the screw, superior facet of this vertebra is covered by the inferior articular facet of the superior vertebra. So in order to get the anatomy clear, you can do a small facetectomy, 5 millimeters. You can remove the facet like that. So we will expose the superior facet of the indented vertebra. That is the superior facet of the indented vertebra. You have to see the entire width of the facet. This is very important because this will give you some guidance how to put a particular screw. I am marking the center part of the facet. So this is the lateral and this is a medial. At any cost, one should not venture into the medial aspect of this facet. This area that is the dangerous zone. You should be all your activity should be restricted to lateral half, that is called the safe zone. Then we have to identify the entry point. First, you have to draw a line like that from the lateral edge of the superior facet to the through the pass into the lateral edge of the inferior facet, and there is another line drawn through the superior edge of the transverse process, and intersecting point between these two lines is the pedicle entry point. Once you have done that, then next step is to make a small cortisectomy that I will describe in a minute. So this is very important, that this line should from the lateral edge of the superior facet to the lateral edge of the inferior facet. Then the cortisectomy part, you can do with the burr or a small nibbler is okay, good enough to do this. And while doing, you have to drill for 5 mm or something. There in a normal cadaver, normal bone, you can see the cancellous bone of the pedicle. That is called, you can call it as a target site. So there will be a color difference. Cortical bone will be more whiter, and cancellous bone will be bluish. So you can get that blush of the pedicle cancellous bone. That is your entry point. Once you have identified the entry point, next step is to making a path for the screw. There are many owls are available. I go with a gear shift owl or probe that is slightly curved. So, and the shape is somewhat triangular, and the diameter comes to about 4 mm. This is more comfortable for the thoracic spine. First, you start with the curved end, curve facing laterally. That is the curve. You can see you have to face the curve one laterally and slowly push into the pedicle. You can go up to 15 mm or so, like this. By the time you would have crossed the lamina part, then isthmus of the pedicle, because isthmus of the pedicle. After that, you have to withdraw this is a safer method because one the canal and the cord are lying adjacent or medial to the pedicle wall. So in order to avoid injury, in order to avoid medial perforation of the wall, you, you can do this way, and you can go up to 50 millimeters or 1.5 centimeters. After that, you withdraw it. Then turn the probe medially now and push further where you are entering into the vertebral body. You can, in the typical mid thoracic, that is what we are seeing here. You can go up to 35, around 35 millimeters. Usually, it will take 30. The pedicle length and the screw length will be 35 to 40 millimeters. Once you have done that, this is a pedicle sound. This is a ball tip pedicle sound, and there is a marking also to see about the length. This probe or pedicle sound is very important. With this, you have to palpate all the four walls of the pedicle and the floor of the pedicle. This is how it is done. Consider this is the pedicle. You have to palpate the superior wall, medial wall, lateral wall, and inferior wall, and make sure that you get all the walls are intact by doing so. This step is very important because if there is a violation, if you have to know it. If it is a media violation, it's more dangerous because the thoracic pedicles canal is smaller, and the ratio between the spinal cord and the canal diameter is very small here. So one has to be very careful about this. So I did that. I checked all around, and I could find that all the walls are intact. Now we are safe. We are in the pedicle. Next step is to do tapping. Generally, the in typical mid thoracic vertebra, you can go with the 5 mm screw. So the ideal situation, you should tap with the same size tap, but here I am under tapping it. Under tapping 1 millimeter less, and that you tap under tapping with a tap 1 millimeter less will give you more stability, more pull-out strength to the screw. So this is a 4 mm tap. I want to put, if I want to put a 5 mm screw. Again, after tapping, you have to check all the walls. Here, it is more easier because you can palpate the tap threads on the walls, so you can roll your ball tip probe or sound over it. I will get that feel. Next step is to identification of the length of the screw. This can be done this way. Like you can go down, and you can hit the floor, and you can see from the probe how much is the length required. Here it is around 40 millimeters. So this is a 5 mm screw, 40 millimeters length. This is using here is a monoaxial screw. Then you have to put the screw carefully. The screw should be angle, or the screw should direct at the same angle uh, along the pedicle. In especially in sometimes if you change the angle, the screw can cut through the one of the wall, especially in osteoporotic patients. This is the problem with the sawbone. It will get fractured if the screw head is fracturing it. Then take it out, and now we can confirm your screw placement with the CM. You have to do AP and a lateral view. AP view, you can see that screw is going medially through the pedicle. Laterally, you can see the sagittal orientation of the screw and also the length of the screw. That is the typical vertebra. Now coming to the lower three vertebra, that is the second group. We grouped into three. This second group comes lower three. That means 10, 11, and 12. This is that you can see there is this area is a translational area. So the pedicles and vertebral body takes some characters of lumbar spine, and again it shows some characters of the dorsal spine as well. This is a typical this is the L1 and this is the D12 vertebra. You can see the difference between the spinous process of L1 and D12. Here again, you can here again you have to identify the entry point. The here identification is somewhat similar to the lumbar spine, where the transverse line is drawn in the mid through the mid part of the transverse process, and other line connecting superior and inferior articular process lateral part. And that intersecting point is your entry. Next step is more or less similar. You have to do the corticectomy with the power bar. I generally go by 3 mm bar. Another peculiarity of the pedicles in this region, usually the pedicles are wider here, and the transverse angulation, transverse orientation of the pedicles are also changing. In a typical vertebra, the pedicles are oriented 15 to 20 degree medially, transversely, or axially. Here in D12 vertebra, the pedicles are oriented neutral or sometimes 5 degree divergent. So you have to be careful. You should not give the 20 degree medial angulation. So you have to go straight like that. Similar way, the angled probe should face laterally and get into the pedicle till the isthmic area. Then withdraw the probe, redo it again with a curved part facing medially. Well, according to the biomechanical principles, screw stability or pull-out strength of the screw depends on the same way you have to tap it, depends on many factors. One of the factors is the triangularity of the screw. That means the screw should be facing or oriented more medially. If you go straight, pull-out strength is much less than than a screw facing medially. Coming on to the upper three vertebra, D1, D2, and D3. I'm doing it on the D2. You can see the TP is so large here. Here, what happens to the pedicle is the pedicles become more larger in diameter. They move more laterally. That means the canal is much wider here, and the orientation, the craniocaudal orientation, pedicles are more oriented towards cranially than in a typical vertebra. So the identification of entry point again is similar to the lower third, like the center part of the TP, the line drawn, and the other line drawn on the lateral aspect of the superior and inferior facet through the pars. And the medial angulation is also different here. Here it is T1 and T2. It is medial angulation or transverse angle is around 30 degrees. So here you don't have to do the technique we have done in the mid thoracic or lower thoracic region, where our old caudal was facing laterally initially, and then I turn the angle medially. Here you can go straight medially. You don't have to do the lateral thing here because the pedicles are oriented more medially here. As I said earlier, it is about 30 degrees. So before going all the way into the pedicles, you can withdraw your probe and check whether you are right. Your tactile feedback is also very important. You should feel the bone resistance throughout. If there is a sudden giveaway and all, withdraw the probe immediately. Check where is the problem, which wall of the pedicle you have violated. So if you have violated lateral wall, obviously you need to angle it some more medially. And if you have violated medial wall, then that can be a problem. You have to check. You have to if you have access to neuromonitoring, you should ask the team to check the MEP and wait for some time. And probably you can salvage the pedicle, but it is not advisable. Better to go one level high if possible. Here, in the proximal instrumented vertebra, you should not do the fasciectomy, because if you do the fasciectomy here, you can get something called proximal junctional kyphosis. So you are violating the facet joint. Then the facet joints are gone. There can be a chance of segmental instability, and that can create a kyphosis in that region. That is called proximal junctional kyphosis. Doing the other side, again the typical vertebra, that will give a clear, I hope you can see a clear view how the pedicles are probed with the pedicle probe. Fasciectomy can be done. Exposing the superior facet of the indented vertebra. Here it's D8, I think. Then there's a typical vertebra between 4 to 9. It's a typical dorsal vertebra. So your entry is the transverse line should drawn through the superior edge of the transverse process. The longitudinal line is from the lateral edge of the superior facet through the pass into the lateral edge of the inferior facet. Corticectomy is done. In a normal bone, as I said earlier, you will see a tumor. Sorry, you will see the pedicle blush. That is a color change where you can see the cancellous bone sitting inside the pedicle. Once you can see that, you can make sure, you can be very much sure that that is the pedicle entry point. Sometimes you may not get it. So in the typical vertebra, as I said earlier, facing the curved probe laterally for 1 to 1.5 centimeters. Gentle rocking motion is allowed. You should not turn it too much because the curved probe will make a bigger hole in the tip if you do that. So gentle rocking motion you can do, but not like a straight probe. You can rotate much more. That you can do is 180-degree rotation and all. Here probably 30 degrees good enough. That will give you some mechanical advantage, and you can push the probe in. That is about 1.5 centimeter. Then we have to take it back, turn medially, and go and complete. You can go up to 35 millimeters here. Generally, the pedicle size is 35 to 45, 35 to 40 in the mid-thoracic region, 40 to 45 in the lower three vertebrae, and 25 to 30 to the in upper dorsal spine. Checking each wall. That is very important step. And make sure that you feel the bone all around, and then you feel the floor where you should hit the bone. So next is tapping. I usually do under tapping here, 1 millimeter less than that of the intended screw. Checking the pedicle wall again after tapping. This time, after tapping, if you do, you can feel the thread cut by the tap. Real-time length you can take. Measure it, comes around 35 millimeters. Normally, there will be marking on the screw. If for some reason it is not visible, it's always better to check the length. Put the screw the same angle as you did the pedicle probing. While rotating the screw, Another advantage of under tapping is that you will get much more resistance to resistance while putting the screw. So that will give some reassurance that you are still in the bone. There is no violation.
Mhm.
The same size here I did a polyaxis screw on that side. Poly that is advantage when while I'm doing the here in this side I did a fixed angle screw. The other side that because of that the sawbone the transfer force is broken here. On the other side because it's a polyaxial screw, you can the angle you can turn the angle whatever way you want. If there is some offset between if you're doing it from the junction, especially in the junction like dorsolumbar spine, this will give some while the polyaxial screw is an advantage. It will give some you, the road placement of road will be much easier with the polyaxial screw. Then you have to place the road. The length of the road is checked. After that, you have to contour the road. Contouring the road is very important. If you do, especially in the lumbar spine, if you go with a straight road without contouring, that can give rise to flat back syndrome and pain. So always remember to contour the road before placing it according to the curvature, according to the kyphosis or lordosis. Depends on depending on where you are putting it, contour it and then fix it. Then let us discuss some of the salvage technique. As I told you before, if you have violated the screw in a straightforward technique, you can again try the anatomical technique. What you have to do it, you have to change the angle more cordially, put the screw from there. Second, in that way. And second method is salvaging. The salvage technique is in and out technique, where you are putting the screw from the transverse process lateral to the pedicle, where you can that is the rib. The rib will come there. So it comes from that cortex. It comes out here. Comes out here. Then the rib will be there. Rib will be articulating with the transverse process and the vertebral body through, and between the rib and the pedicle, you again enter the vertebral body here and get inside the vertebral body. This is called in, out, and in technique. Biomechanically is not superior to the pedicle screw, but you can always use it as a salvage procedure. You have to angulate it more medially. Should not go straight, otherwise it can your vessels will come. All the vessels aorta will be much closer here in the dorsal spine. There is 5 to 6 millimeters gap between the dorsal vertebral body and the aorta. So one has to be very careful about the screw length as well as the angulation about the screws.
if you do more medial angulation, you can get into the canal. If you are giving a less angulation, you can injure one of the structures, and you can sometimes the pleural injury can occur that will give rise to that can give pneumothorax. So one has to be very careful. Pedicle screw in dorsal spine is a tricky business, but it is not an impossible task or anything. Always start with the lower dorsal spine first, then you can graduate to the mid thoracic, and then you can go get into the uh, upper three vertebral levels. And when it comes to scoliosis, scenario is much different than this, because in scoli there is a rotational component is also there. This rotations will make the pedicle angulation more. If in the apical region, most often it can rotate to from the from the AP anterior posterior position. It can come to left to right or coronal plane. So sometimes you have to put the screw horizontal to the table and all that, and that is one problem. Other problem is pedicles are not fully formed here. They can deformed, small, and sometimes you can get pedicles uh, without any cancellous bone. So getting the pedicle screw in those situations, especially in the apical region, is very difficult. Uh, that's all about the pedicle screw fixation, the dorsal spine. Any doubts, anything we can ask. Otherwise, uh, our moderator can take over, discuss some of the nuance of the dorsal pedicle screw fixation. He is also a veteran in this, I know that. So he has so many things to say, to discuss. I think so. Mute.
Okay. Yeah. Sajesh is a good demonstration. You have told most of the points. And as you mentioned, because many people after graduating from the lumbar pedicle screw move into thoracic screw fixation, and thoracic pathology is always, you'll find variety of pathology in thoracic spine, from tumor to infection to trauma to degeneration to scoliosis. Knowing the anatomy very well, more than the anatomy, three-dimensional picturization of the pedicle in a prone position, is the key in whole spine. So that comes only with repeated practices and a good learning curve, and meticulously learning each and every step in each surgery you perform. And the other important aspect of the thoracic spine is the thoracic spine in the upper level is just then becoming, from the lordotic cervical spine, it's becoming kyphotic, up to T4, and then it goes like a hump. The highest point you'll find at D5, 6, and 7 level, then descends towards the lumbar lordosis. So this, the hill-like structure, and understanding this anatomy is equally important. Otherwise, every pedicle screw you put it in the same way, the direction becomes abnormal. So whenever you should also know that T4 is the narrowest of all. Though is in the middle, T4 pedicle is the narrowest, not the T1 and T2. And whenever you're doing up to T3, every surgeon should stand near the head end of the patient when you start your, the pilot hole. And the T4 downwards, you can stand next to the patient. So otherwise, your angulation becomes abnormal, especially in some patient with high cervicothoracic, significant lordosis of cervical spine. The T1 and T2 is literally vertical. So this three-dimensional visualization is the key before you put your screw into that. And always you have to make sure it is parallel to the upper end plate and subchondral, because if you put it in the middle of it, the toggling is more, and more subchondral you are, better the things will be. I think these are the only few points I can add to Sajesh. Otherwise, he demonstrated fantastically. If anybody has questions, please let us know. Sajesh is ready to answer, and I'll also help whatever bit I know.
It seems that there is no questions from the participants, I think. Everybody
I
is
think so. Yeah, everybody's silent. Nothing in the chat box also.
also,
Otherwise,
yeah.
I would have. I think in the morning you demonstrated the live one so beautifully, and now with the cadaver one, I don't think anybody should have a much of question, because demonstration is perfect both in the Sawbone model as well as in the thoracic. In your surgery. I think that definitely says that you've done a great job, Sajesh.
Okay, thank you very much. So, what we shall do now? Shall we wait for here, redo the thing again, or
I think if it is no question, I think we should complete our session.
okay?
Or people can log into some other session if they are interested.
Yeah, then probably we'll play the video
Yeah,
if they continuously, if they can see it.
correct,
If
correct. You can continuously play your video so that if anybody has missed, I know we can see, and we can see the chat box. If anything is there, we can answer.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
yeah.
do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
good,
okay. Oh,
good,
thank
good.
you very much.
Bye, bye.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.